Side hustles and secondary sources of income are necessary for generating wealth for yourself and getting out of the rat race and creating financial freedom. Now, there are many different types of side hustles and secondary sources of income that you can actually look at that will earn you extra money to put towards building wealth for yourself. And the IRS actually came out with a statement just recently saying that over 65% of individuals have three incomes or more, which means if you want to become a millionaire or have great wealth for yourself or have more money for yourself to do more things in your life, you're going to need more than one income, especially if you've just got a regular 9 to 5 job, even if you are a high income earning professional. So in today's video, I'm going to go through a couple side hustles that you can start almost immediately that will generate you income and you can put towards growing your wealth. And I'm going to take it a step further and actually break it up into two kind of segments. One is side incomes that you can actually start almost immediately that will almost bring you money in immediately or very quickly, and things which you can set up longer term to actually bring you in greater money or even replace your 9 to 5 income to have a better lifestyle for yourself and grow your wealth faster. Because one of the best ways of actually creating wealth for yourself and getting to that millionaire status is by actually owning a business. But that's not in today's video. And another great thing with having multiple sources of income is that you can use your primary income for wealth creation, and the secondary income can be used to reduce debt and actually just cover the cost of living, especially now where inflation is at 9.1% at time of recording of this video in the US, and it looks like it's not going anywhere lower anytime soon, which means the general cost of goods is going to go up, and which means that your money that you're earning from your 9 to 5 or regular income isn't going to go as far. And you're going to have to look at sacrificing in some aspects of your life just to kind of cover the basic cost of living, or like I said, earn some extra money to cover those costs and enjoy your life a little bit more. And it's also a great way to actually reduce your own debt, especially if interest rates start rising on credit cards and home loans and mortgages and things like that. So definitely something you should start looking at, and I'm going to jump through and get into them right now. So the first segment of this, I'm going to look at secondary sources of income or side hustles that you can actually start almost immediately to actually start earning some income. Now, it won't necessarily be a huge amount of income and it might not replace your 9 to 5 job, but it's a great way to actually start earning a little bit of extra money per week or per month that you can actually reduce your debts, cover the cost of living, or even put towards investing and setting yourself up financially down the line. So the first one I'm going to get into, and probably one of the easiest things to actually go out and do, is actually get a second job. It's not rocket science going out and doing that. It's actually pretty easy, or depending on how much time you have to yourself, it's something you can actually do quite simply just by looking through the classifieds or a job seeker service kind of thing, and go out and actually get a second job. Because no matter what side hustle you're doing, you're going to be putting that time and effort into working no matter what. So if you go to work at an established company, it's already structured there. You know you're going to earn a bit of money extra week per week that you can put towards that cost of living or reducing your debts. Now, it might just be $50 to a couple $100 a week, but that significantly stacks up over time to actually help with yourself financially. So side hustle number 2 that you can actually start almost immediately that can actually start generating your income is selling secondhand goods on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Now, this is something I've actually done in the past, and I didn't necessarily make a lot of money, but I didn't actually put a lot of time and effort into it. I only had one day a week that I could actually put into this, but I was actually turning over about $200 a week. And what I was actually doing, and I've actually created a video on this if you want to jump back into my channel and actually have a look, is I was selling secondhand furniture on Facebook. So I was going out, buying something for secondhand, which I knew was quite cheap, and reposting it at a slightly higher rate to actually create that profit margin. Now, this is actually something really good that you can actually do because it actually teaches you more than one skill. It teaches you to look for a product which is in demand, undervalued, and also teaches you negotiation, because you don't just want to go out and buy that item at market price. You actually want to try and get it slightly under what's being listed. So you got to learn how to negotiate that price down so you can, when you relist it at a slightly higher price, you can actually increase your margin of profit on that item. Now, there are a few kind of hidden costs and expenses involved with that one, like transportation to actually get yourself to and from where the item is situated, and so fuel and stuff like that. But there's no listing fees if you're selling it on Facebook Marketplace. If you sell it on eBay, obviously there is a listing fee and you've got to kind of factor that in. But it's actually a really good way of actually having a second source of income. Now, my brother does this quite successfully and earns a couple $1,000s a week. So it's definitely something you can actually start today and earn a bit of money. In saying that, he does this full time. So just be aware of that it's not something, if you're just going to do 2 days a week, it'll make thousands of dollars a week. But it is definitely quite easy to make $50 to $100 or $200 a week if you do put a little bit of time into it. And if you're not starting off with a lot of money, or you don't have a lot of money to start, you can find free items on Facebook or Reddit and places like that. Just be aware that if you do get those free items, not every free item is desired or people want to buy down the line. So you might be buying things or getting things which you can't sell on afterwards. So it teaches you that skill as well to find items which, like I said, are in demand, which you can actually sell on afterwards. The third side hustle, which I'm going to mention now, is something which quite a lot of people already do, and is actually, I feel, a very great way of actually earning a bit of extra money. And that's Uber. Either transportation itself, just driving people around, or even food delivery. Because at the end of the day, everyone needs to be transported around, especially if they don't have a license. And I know when I was traveling in the States recently, I Ubered or taxied everywhere. So Uber was a great way of actually getting transportation quite quickly, because I could just order it and it would be there and I would just go to where I needed to go. And food delivery as well, it's actually becoming a lot more commonplace that people get food delivered to their house through Uber Eats or whatever other driver services there is. So it's definitely a great way to actually earn a bit of money. There is a few costs involved down the line, like you got to pay fees to Uber, car maintenance, fuel, tires, things like that. But it is actually a great way to actually earn a couple $100 extra a week to, like I said, reduce your debts, put towards living expenses, or to actually grow your personal wealth. Now, like I said, these three aren't necessarily the best ones to actually replace your income or go to get yourself to that $1 million mark quite rapidly. It's a great way to actually bring in a little bit of extra income for yourself to actually put towards all those things I've mentioned. So that's the segment on things you can actually start almost immediately that will actually bring you in a little bit of money to start kind of covering those costs and growing your wealth. The next section I'm going to go through is side hustles that you can actually start, but typically won't bring in a lot of money early on. But as you scale out, you can start earning or generating quite a significant amount of money where you can actually replace your income or get to that $1 million mark quite rapidly, because some of them can actually be built into full-blown businesses that you can scale out and services and things like that. So I'm going to dive into these now. One of the first ones I want to jump on and touch on is YouTube. Now, I'm not monetized myself, but there are many YouTubers out there creating content for people on topics similar to this, or a whole array or a whole variety of different topics out there where people have queries on, say, car repairs, finance, arts and crafts, toys, you name it, there's probably a video about it. You can definitely create a side hustle based on YouTube and becoming a YouTube vlogger where there is a demand. So you definitely want to look at niches where people are actually spending their time looking at. So I know that makeup tutorials were a major one a couple of years back. Personal finance, like I'm doing right now, is another major one as well. Might be a little bit more saturated, but you definitely can find niches where people will look at to actually watch your videos, especially if they're quite compelling, to get views, and you can actually gradually monetize that over time. And if you build a large enough an audience, you can actually generate quite a significant amount of money from that. So that's the first one. Now, another side hustle that you can actually start is becoming a social media influencer on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, where you get paid to do collaborations with brands where they pay to do posts for them, promoting their product or business or service and things like that. Now, this does take a little while to actually build up a following, and you do this through obviously creating content on your page that you obviously gain likes, gain followers, and you build out gradually. Now, same thing, it's not something that you can monetize immediately. It does take a little while to actually build and grow out and actually cultivate an audience which actually engages with your content. Now, you can pick a specific niche which you want to focus on, but that all depends on what your likes are, what you want to try and promote, what you want to build, and things like that. And then obviously brands in those niches will seek you out to actually do the promotions of their products and services. So that's another great side hustle that you can actually start and build out over time. And if you're already on social media, you may as well do it anyway, because it is a great way to actually earn a bit of money over time. Now, another side hustle that you can actually start, which is kind of linked to the social media influencer, is actually be a social media manager. And the role of this is you actually manage people's social media platforms. So obviously if there's an influencer who can't keep up with all her posts, all her emails and things like that, you manage their feed and their page for them, and also collaborate with brands or bring them brand deals so they can actually say yes or no. And you don't actually have to limit to just one influencer. You can actually have multiple, and you can start with small influencers and build your way out, or collaborate with brands saying, hey, I can actually get you X amount of posts with a couple different influencers and have this much kind of scope for doing your posts and promotions. Now, that's actually a great way to actually build out one of these social media management agencies, because you can actually build gradually and add influencers to your management, and as they grow, you grow as well. So that's another great side hustle that you can actually start and build upon. So the next side hustle that you can actually start is actually e-commerce. Now, this one has probably been spoken about in so many different ways and avenues, that you can do it through drop shipping, Amazon FBA, create your own website and branding and things like that, that I'll just run through it quite briefly here to give you a bit of an overview of it. Now, in my personal opinion, because I've actually done this myself, is when you start a e-commerce side business or side hustle, building it out yourself, while it might be a little more difficult, is a really good way of actually controlling the entire process from start to finish over things like drop shipping, where you only got control over what products you're actually selling. Whereas if you actually own the business website, the logistics and things like that, you can control it from start to finish. All you're really waiting on is the products coming in from wherever you're ordering them from and having to warehouse them. And obviously going through all the paperwork of tracking the finances and things. But another really great way of doing this is actually fulfillment by Amazon, the Amazon FBA system, because Amazon takes care of all the entire process for you. All you actually have to do is source the products, get them to Amazon, write the copy for the Amazon website, and take some really good graphics of the products there. And then after that, Amazon just takes care of the rest of the process for you. So it's actually a really great way of setting up a side hustle. Like I said, all you got to do is find a product which is in demand, which people would want to buy, and it's actually profitable as well over time. So that's another great side hustle that you can start, an e-commerce brand or business through any of those couple of avenues, either drop shipping, creating your own website and product search and stuff, or fulfillment by Amazon. Now, from there, another side hustle you can start, and one which is a bit more risky and a bit more kind of intensive emotionally, is trading. Now, this is something which I do personally, and I do make a reasonable amount of money from it, and I'm actually, as you probably see one of my older videos where I'm actually resigning from work to actually trade full time, can bring you in quite a bit of money. Now, with trading, you can actually be profitable from the beginning, but because of the steep learning curve that you need to have, and setting up processes and practices and actually understanding how to trade, technical analysis, charting and things like that, it can take a little bit of time before you actually are profitable to a point where you actually replace your income or earning a reasonable amount of money, because at any one time you can actually go negative and lose the money, especially if you're doing it on leverage, which if you're a beginner, I highly advise that you do not do. That is probably financial advice, maybe, I don't know. But it can bring you in quite a decent amount of money. So that one you can take a little bit of time to actually work out what trading styles work for you and grow it out gradually. And I would probably stick to just either crypto or stocks in doing that. I wouldn't go into forex trading, because it is quite volatile. It can go indefinitely higher or lower depending on which kind of position you take and it moves against you. Whereas in crypto, it can go to zero. In stocks, it can go to zero, but the upside potential is greater than the low side potential, especially if you're in solid projects for crypto or solid companies in the stock market, which have good long-term potential, do have good financials, and have a trajectory of going higher. Obviously, there are companies like Amazon, Tesla, things like that, which if you've listened to or looked into financial things in the past, you'll get an understanding of what I'm talking about, where they're solid products and companies which will over time go up higher. So if you can just dollar cost average or learn how to trade, you can actually become quite profitable over the long term as well. And that's something I'm going to go into in a video shortly, the difference between trading and investing and how you can actually strategize to actually make the most of it for yourself. So, like I said, those are some great ways to actually earn second sources of income through side hustles in 2022 and just in general. So don't be afraid to actually go out and start them now. It does take a bit of time to actually work on, and you can start more than one at the same time, because some are going to be very, very short lead times, so you can actually start making money immediately. But like I said, you probably can't use those to replace your 9 to 5 income or scale out to become a significant amount of money coming in. Whereas the other ones do take a little bit of time to kind of create the audience and lead into creating their income for you, but it can be significantly higher than what you're actually earning currently and can get you to that $1 million mark or financial freedom for yourself. So hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Don't forget, drop me a like, leave me a comment, let me know about some other side hustles that you think you could start today or down the line to actually help generate some income for yourself. And don't forget, guys, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys again in the next video. Cheers.